on behalf of Value Talks, I welcome you once again to yet another talk on real estate. And I'm your host, Vikas, Bodani. A little bit about myself. I'm a software engineer by profession, and currently I'm running a firm called Web Data Technologies. We provide enterprise-level telecom billing solutions to telecom companies around the world. We also have a billing software as a service by the name of Simple Billing. I'm very thankful to Value Talks for having me as a board of expert on the software solution side. So thank you for that. Value Talks is an advisory platform for career, finance, and health. And there's a YouTube channel, and I'd encourage everybody who is a listener or people known to you to join, subscribe to this channel to learn valuable talks and discussions from different fields related to your career or industry. Today's talk is titled as, "Is it a bad idea to invest in affordable housing in Haryana with so much of supply?" So it's basically talk, tailored towards investing and in real estate, and then particularly, affordable housing. So for this talk, I have with me Capt Vipul Choudhary. I think at Value Talks, Vipul Choudhary needs no introduction, but let me once again, highlight. Vipul has 15 years of experience in the real estate sales and finance background. He has experience across various cities of India. He's currently based in Gurgaon. Vipul is an MBA finance graduate. He also holds a 5-year law degree, and he's previously served with the Indian Army as well. So welcome, Vipul, to this talk. So before I start, Vipul, a little bit about the affordable housing. Some facts that I've found out about affordable housing is that that Gurgaon is the hub of Haryana's affordable housing market, and there are about more than 1 lakh units under construction under the affordable housing scheme, and more than 125 projects. Affordable housing can be defined is actually Haryana's the state government policy, which allows the state governments to sell projects which are actually developed by private entities or builders at fixed rates. This is kind of a win-win because it allows kind of guarantee or predictability to the builders as far as sales is concerned. And it also allows the government to kind of meet their public welfare policies. It's also, I think it's related to the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana as well, because there are some subsidies that are available to the state government through Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. I won't talk about the size of the market. I let Vipul to kind of be an expert on that. I do have a figure. One of the other things about the affordable housing projects is that the 2 BHK in this scheme starts at about 25 lakhs. And for that amount in Gurgaon I think it's pretty attractive. Having said that, I'll dive into the talk. Let me start with one of my first question is that as an investment, how quickly or comfortably is an investor able to gain value from an investment in affordable housing?
Yeah, I mean, making an investment into affordable housing, the moment an investor does that, he is already paid well.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the price has been capped by government regulation. Price as of today, after one revision, is at 4,200 rupees per square feet of the carpet area.
Mm-hmm.
So from Gurgaon, at least from the real estate pricing perspective of Gurgaon, it's a very, very attractive price to make any kind of a real estate purchase.
So if I look at a period of 5 years, what is a kind of a estimate on the kind of returns you can get?
So if you look at a 5-year period in any of the affordable housing project, because I would say it can be anything from 12 to 15% would be the compounded annual growth rate. Wherein if an investor purchases a unit worth 15 lakh rupees, which is, let's say, a one-bedroom unit, then in 5 years, he should be expecting at least 32 lakh rupees from that particular one-bedroom unit. And I can say this, in Gurgaon, that would be irrespective of location. It can be more, it would not be less in terms of returns. And over a 30-year period, taking into account reversion to mean and the fact that 15% growth compounded may not be sustainable over that long period of time. Even then, I would say 12% compounded annual growth rate in affordable housing Gurgaon is a very, very safe bet, which implies that a 15 lakh unit in 30 years should be approximately 5 odd CR. And this is just the capital appreciation. The rental returns over the period of next 30 years and the tax saving on the loans which a person raises would be over and above this capital appreciation.
Definitely. I think you're talking from finance. Yeah. I mean, if you take a loan, then you can add on to the returns, considering you get those tax benefits. So, I mean, before I dive into a more kind of a pointed question, did you say that there are rental returns as well in the affordable housing?
Yeah, affordable housing is a very, very handsome demand of rentals. All the projects which have been completed, they as of today have anything from 70 to 80% occupancy. Within a year, an affordable housing project starts touching 80% occupancy. Even in remote locations like Sector 5 of Sona, where there is a project, ready to move project in the affordable housing, by the name of MDI Athens, occupancy is around 70%. And the rental returns of the purchase price are anything from 3 to 3.5%, which is a good 1.5% jump over the existing rentals in other kind of housing projects across India.
Definitely. So 12.5% of capital appreciation per annum, right?
12% is what I'll say a very safe bet for if you take it over a longer period of 20, 30 years from now.
I see your point. So, and you also used 12% as a appreciation for a 5-year period as well, right?
For the shorter period, if the location is good, I would say it would be at least 15%, because the places where affordable housing is, the infra is coming up very fast there. So initial 5-10 years, the appreciation can be faster.
Okay, I agree with that, because I read a news article on this that the government is kind of paying a lot of attention to building roads ahead of the projects launch themselves. And I saw about the figures like about 6,000 kilometers of roads and have been relaid, in the sense not new roads, and there was another figure of about 300 kilometers of new roads laid for affordable housing, specifically around affordable housing. So that's I agree with that. So what's driving this 15% return? Because that's not even the growth rate of the economy. I want to understand why would this suddenly become so growth oriented?
Okay, so let's understand this, because in India, or rather for that matter, anywhere in the world, the economy is a pyramid. Incomes are a pyramid.
That's true.
Implication means the topmost class is a very, very small percentage of the total number of people.
That's right.
So even in India, let's say 90% of the wealth or the 80% of the wealth would be accumulated by the top 20% of the people. And we can keep on applying that iteration of 80-20 again and again. When I say that, further of the 80%, another 80% would be occupying another 20% would be occupying the 80% of the wealth. Further. So a very minuscule majority, which is say 0.5% of the total population, would have access to a very huge amount of resources. And then it's a pyramid. It's a pyramid. When we keep coming down, the base is bigger and the demand is more. So in real estate, how this translates into demand is, if there are 10 people who want to buy a property worth 1 crore rupees, and if I come down to, let's say, 50 lakh rupees, then the demand is not double. It is not that 20 people want to buy 50 lakh rupees. The demand multiplies by a figure of 5 to 10.
Mm-hmm. Makes
So
sense.
if there are 10 people wanting to buy 1 crore property worth 1 crore, then 50 lakh rupees, there are 50 or 100 people wanting to buy a property worth 1 crore. You come further down the price point, the demand further increases exponentially. So if I come down to a 25 lakh figure, it is not that now it would be 15 to 5, 250. It would be 15 to 10 or 15 to 15. Implies for 25 lakh property, now the demand is at 250 per unit or 500 per unit. So it multiplies by with every price point coming down, with every reduction in price point. The demand is not just multiplying by that factor. So if there is a 10% dip in the price, the demand does not go up by 10%, it goes up by 20%. If there is a further 10%, it goes up by 25%. So the point I'm trying to make is, because this pyramidal demand or a funnel, a reverse pyramid, when we come down the price point, say affordable housing price point is 25 lakh rupees, vis-a-vis a property which is at 1 crore in the same location. So if there are 10 buyers for the 1 crore property, for the 25 lakh rupees 2-bedroom house in affordable housing, there are going to be 100 buyers.
Easily.
That's the difference in demand.
तो आप ये कह रहे हो कि जैसे एक्सपेंसिव प्रॉपर्टी वर्सेस अफोर्डेबल प्रॉपर्टी हाउसिंग, अगर वहां पे 10 बायर्स हैं इन अ प्रीमियम प्रॉपर्टी, तो अफोर्डेबल में वो जो बायर साइज है वो 10 टाइम्स टू 15 टाइम्स हो जाता है. अगर वहाँ 10 है तो यहाँ 100 टू 150 हो जाएंगे. सो ये तो आई थिंक ये तो बहुत ही लॉजिकल एक्सप्लेनेशन है, इजीली समझ में भी आ जाता है. बट हरियाणा स्पेसिफिक कोई डिमांड के कोई नंबर्स हैं जो एक्चुअली ये प्रूव करते हैं एविडेंटली कि हाँ इसमें 5 साल तक बहुत हैवी डिमांड रहेगा. सो because from an investor, that is very critical from an investor's perspective कि how
मैं आपको इसका नंबर से ही आंसर देता हूँ. आपने शुरू में बोला था when we started the talk that in Gurgaon there are close to 1 lakh affordable housing dwelling units under construction or delivered. Out of that, approximately 50,000 plus are delivered or nearing delivery. Okay. Now, Gurgaon itself, the population base is around 20 lakh now. Right. Which makes this around 2% of the total population. 50,000 unit against a 20 lakh population, which is 2%. Okay. And this is not unauthorized development. This is not a kachi colony or unlicensed property. Affordable housing is a proper modern constructed housing built as per the National Building Code with the basic amenities in place. So it is affordable, but it is not a poor quality house. Affordable should not be confused with a poor quality house. Now we come to a bigger perspective, the all India level perspective. As of 2022, as of 2022, all over India, the shortage of houses is around 3.5 crore units. Okay, 3.5 crores across India. Yeah. Out of which, if I say NCR represents 2% of the housing market, although it represents more, but let us say 2%, that makes it a shortage of 7 lakh units in NCR. Out of that, if I say 30% is what Gurgaon represents in NCR, in terms of the housing demand, that is a shortage of 2 lakh units. Correct. Okay, go on. Out of the shortage of 2 lakh, 80% shortage is in the affordable segment. It is not in the luxury segment. So that makes it around 1.6 lakh units are still in demand in the affordable segment. Against which my ready stock is 50,000 plus, and under construction stock is another 50,000. Achha. Implication being that I still have, so yes, if we look at it only from a supply side, it looks a huge supply. There are 50 lakh to 1 lakh units, 50,000 to 1 lakh units either delivered or under construction. But when I look at the demand side, I realize that the demand is still 2 to 3 times more than what the supply is.
Okay. So
So
certainly,
I'll try and drive it from another analogy. So whenever a metro train starts running on a particular track,
you mean an area or a track?
or a track, let's say any place which metro starts serving or adding, in
Uh-huh.
spite of the fact that there is road infrastructure, in spite of the fact that there are buses and cars and everything, you'll find that metro invariably gets oversubscribed.
Mm.
Because India has a huge population growth and a very fast clip of urbanization. Therefore, on affordable housing, the demand is very huge. In urban growth centers, even more. I'm very sure that in places like Bombay, Bangalore, which are the urban growth centers, a similar priced uh, housing would have an equally robust demand. Because there also the salary structures are same. I mean, you go across a big city, Bombay, the salary structures would probably be 10-15% plus of what Gurgaon is if you do a salary indexation. Because the cost of living is slightly higher there due to even more expensive real estate. What is true for 25 lakhs at Gurgaon would be, I'm sure, true for 40 lakhs at New Bombay or further towards the suburbs.
Correct. So there is a huge demand. What
At
I
this price
found
point.
at this price point, okay.
Yeah.
Irrespective of the price point, one of the figures which I collected from um, um a, a very popular investment news site was that the market of affordable housing is about 50 million people looking for affordable housing. Um,
That would be across India.
50 million, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that would be across India.
So there's a huge demand now from an investor's perspective. Like, can you because it is being sold by the state government at a fixed price, so can you buy and then just sell it at whatever the market price is? Yeah.
Okay, so government has placed a restriction that 1 year from the date of possession,
Hmm.
you cannot make a sale. After that, it is open to the market.
So you just need to hold it for 1 year.
From the date of possession. If I'm a original allottee, then there is a 5-year lock-in.
Okay,
But once it is in the open market, then sale purchase is allowed.
got it. I just asked this question, repeated the question. I think it was covered in one of the earlier talks, specifically on affordable housing. Okay, so these Vipul, the other statistics around these affordable housing projects in Haryana, particularly the ones in Haryana, are that the maximum size in these projects is about 650 square feet, right? Um, does this not impact the capital gain or capital appreciation in the near term or in the short term?
This is very interesting. This thing. So I'll try and explain it as technically as possible. The 650 square feet is the carpet area. That does not include the balconies. You can have additionally balconies up to an area of 700, additional 100 square feet. That makes it 750 square feet. Now, other than that, whatever the common area is being developed is not included in this particular size which has been defined in the price. So any kind of a common area, the galleries, the staircases, the lift lobby, etc., or the entrance lobby, the other areas being developed in the society, they are not included in the carpet area. Now the implication is, if I do an apple-to-apple comparison of only 2 units, so there is a project in Sector 95, ROF Ananda, which is an affordable housing project. There, a two-bedroom is 649 square feet, and I think the balcony area is around 85 to 90 square feet.
ROF Ananda.
ROF Ananda. Now, 1 kilometer in the vicinity in sector 95, there is a regular housing project by the Army Welfare Housing Organization, which is AWHO Shanti Vihar.
Okay.
There, the two-bedroom size is 960 odd square feet.
Okay.
But the internal area of this particular two-bedroom in ROF Ananda and the AWHO two-bedroom in AWHO Shanti Vihar is almost the same. Maybe, 10 or 15 odd square feet here and there. The capping on the size is actually at the carpet area. In any other property which is sold in Gurgaon, there is usually a 30 to 35% odd markup to cater for the other build-up area other than the carpet area.
Right.
So I would say that this is. I'm not saying it is a very lavish or a very well spread out apartment in the affordable housing, but this is adequately sized. The policy has been developed by town planners who know their job, and so a very correct equivalent of an affordable housing would be the Delhi Development Authority MIG apartments, middle income group apartments, which you can see easily in Janakpuri, Dwarka, etc., where the carpet area is again approximately 640 to 680 square feet.
Okay. So that comparison,
So it's not gonna impact the appreciation because it kind of works in favor of the property. The property is adequate, but not there's hardly any hidden charges because of the area or the super area sale which happens in a lot of other properties.
So it's actually, I think, जो comparison जो आपने अभी example दिया, so it kind of points to the. I think what you're saying is कि it points to the fact कि दोनों comparable हैं, right?
हाँ, size wise.
हाँ, size जो market की जा रही है carpet area के terms में is actually comparable to what you normally buy on the.
हाँ, तो रेगुलर हाउसिंग का साइज के हिसाब से देखेंगे तो जो बाकी प्रोजेक्ट्स में 950 टू 1050 स्क्वायर फीट का टू बेडरूम बिकता है मार्केट में, उसके कंपैरिजन में एक अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग का 650 स्क्वायर फीट, दे आर ऑलमोस्ट द सेम.
Carpet area comparable. Okay, that's great.
Carpet area comparable.
That's a very nice I mean, that's quite important clarification. So it doesn't affect capital appreciation. Then there are other things, right, which can be very important for capital appreciation. Like say 5 years ka period hai, for a property which is developed under the affordable housing scheme, उसमें ज़्यादा amenities नहीं है. For example, car parking नहीं provide की गई थी जो scheme start हुई थी, right?
हाँ, शुरू में नहीं था.
ठीक है, और कार पार्किंग नहीं था. दूसरी amenities नहीं होगी, right? Social amenities like the.
दो चीजें हैं. They're provided for one crèche. They're provided for a crèche and they're provided for a community hall.
अच्छा, it is mandated.
हाँ, community hall crèche is mandated, but other than that, yes, you do not have those additional frills, swimming pool or a clubhouse or those kind of things. Okay.
ओके, सो अमेनिटीज नहीं है. मैं इसमें कुछ ऐड कर देता हूँ कि अमेनिटीज नहीं है उसका मतलब ये नहीं कि शॉपिंग नहीं है. देयर आर नो प्लेस टू बाय थिंग्स इन डेली.
शॉपिंग कॉम्प्लेक्स है, कमर्शियल कॉम्प्लेक्स है, ओपन एरियाज है, कुछ थोड़ा बहुत स्पोर्ट्स की भी एक्टिविटीज है. तो फ्रिल्स नहीं है. इट्स लाइक द जन धन योजना नो फ्रिल्स अकाउंट. यू गेट ऑल सर्विसेज व्हिच यू आर सपोज्ड टू गेट. बेसिक है, बट हाँ वो एडिशनल एमिनिटीज नहीं है. And given the fact that this is the project is positioned at the middle income salary earning individuals or middle income families, this works in their favor because it keeps the monthly maintenance cost low. So in fact इससे भी कोई affordable housing को as such नुकसान नहीं है. helps them in terms of the demand does not get impacted negatively because of this. Because it keeps the maintenance cost low. Overall, per square feet maintenance cost they have low actually.
Mm-hmm.
Common area maintenance.
Okay. So
Parking wala jo issue tha, it has been addressed. Parking has now been included in the newer licenses. Parking is now being constructed also at an additional cost of 1 lakh rupees per car park, as per the license being obtained. पुराने जो बन चुके हैं उनमें yes, that is a dampener. Parking becomes a problem, but उनकी locations ऐसी हैं कि now over a period of time because of the locations are improving, तो demand इतनी है कि वो बिना parking के भी buyers are there and people are continuously moving into those. देखिए गुड़गांव जैसे शहर में, बड़े शहरों में अपना घर होना एक्चुअल में मिडिल क्लास ड्रीम है जो पूरा नहीं हो पाता. Not everyone can afford a 1 CR house. And that's the benchmark for a 3-bedroom house in Gurgaon. 70 to 80 lakhs is the benchmark for a 2-bedroom house in Gurgaon. Not everyone is able to afford that. To be able to buy a 2-bedroom house worth 80 lakh rupees, a person should be earning around 2 lakh rupees a month, which is 24 lakh rupees a year. How many people can actually make that kind of money a year?
But again, I mean, जिस segment में ये है, उस segment में there is a huge demand, right? So
Right.
There are buyers in that market. There are buyers in that segment, and they're not looking for frills. They're looking for basic good housing, right?
Yeah.
So, couple of related things, जैसे हमने बात की facilities की, like no frills, then car parking अब हो गया. I think that वो problem solve हो गई है. The other thing is around so आपने you've said कि ये इससे capital appreciation को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, right? I think उसका
Demand पे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Capital appreciation, see, affordable housing demand is driven majorly by the fact that at that price point, modern good housing is not available. Frills नहीं है, but ऐसा नहीं है कि adequate facilities नहीं है. Delhi buying marketing है, fresh है, community hall है, open areas हैं, walking areas हैं. Frills नहीं है. When I say frills, you go to a regular housing, वहाँ आपको एक club house मिल जाएगा जहाँ पर there'll be a pool and a gym, etc. Those frills may not be there, but other than that, adequate living के लिए जो चीजें जरूरी हैं वो affordable housing में provide की गई. So it is not a housing without amenities. It is a housing without frills.
So I think it will be very useful if you can name some projects which have kind of surpassed, जिनमें वो lock-in period अब चला गया है, पास हो गया है, जिसमें you can
बहुत सारे Signature Global के projects हैं. कुछ Signature was one of the pioneers in initially developing the affordable housing project.
Can you name? Can you tell so
Signature Global has a project in Sector 81, which is beyond the 5-year locking period. Then ROF has a project on Dwarka Expressway, which is beyond the locking period by the name of Alias 1. Pyramid has a project in Sector 67. So there are, sorry, not Sector 67, Sector 69. Urban Homes 2. So there are a lot of projects which are now crossing that hedge of or the point of more than 5 years. MEN is a project in Sona 5, which is more than 5 years. So there are quite a lot of projects, and they see an active sale purchase happening because of the buyer demand.
And कुछ practical aspects, from your visits, can you share? Like यहाँ पे projects पे, have you seen crash? Have you seen roads? Have you seen these community halls there?
Yeah, all these कम्युनिटी हॉल्स क्रैश वगैरह, वंस दी अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग प्रोजेक्ट इज हैंडेड ओवर, तो वहां पर एज पर पॉलिसी आरडब्ल्यूए का बनवाना मैंडेटरी है. All that property gets transferred to the RWA. It becomes a property of the Resident Welfare Association. It's in common property of all the residents residing there. And जितने भी ये प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, मैंने आपको नाम बताया, जहाँ चीजें तैयार हैं, लोग रह रहे हैं, वहां पर क्रैश कम्युनिटी हॉल वगैरह आर फुली फंक्शनल. Shops are functional. People are using it.
Okay. That's great. So जो आपने विपुल, जो नाम्स आपने भी बताए, राइट, सिग्नेचर ग्लोबल एंड प्रेस्टीज, ये तो काफी वेल नोन नेम्स हैं, वेयरएज ज्यादातर अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग प्रोजेक्ट्स रिलेटिवली अननोन बिल्डर्स के द्वारा डेवलप किए हुए हैं. I mean, इन बिल्डर्स के नाम people don't easily recall. So how does that play in an investor's mind कि किस उन प्रोजेक्ट्स में उनको जाना भी चाहिए या नहीं, या उनको इस बारे में कोई...
You're making a very pertinent point, because affordable housing as a policy was launched by the government in 2014. So affordable housing जो है, जो existing builders थे, जो entrenched players थे, their costing didn't work out the way affordable housing ने price capping कर दिया. They probably realized कि वो उस nimble enough, उनका size ऐसा नहीं था कि वो उस price point में deliveries कर पाते. So new players came in and they were not well known brands. अभी तो कुछ लोगों ने अपने आप को ठीक से establish कर लिया है. जैसे Signature Global has established itself in the affordable segment. ROF is another builder जिसने अपने आप को affordable segment में काफी अच्छे से, they have around 7-8 projects under construction. 2-3 की वो deliveries भी दे चुके हैं. Pyramid ने अपने आप को काफी अच्छे से establish किया है. GLS is another builder which has established itself. Sun City के भी 2-3 projects हैं. But yes, there are lesser known builders. Again, affordable housing का जो demand है, it is not driven by brands, it is not driven by amenities, it is not driven by marketing. It is purely driven by the actual demand at that price point. Relative example देता हूँ. So when affordable housing was launched, the price as decided by government was 4,000 rupees per square feet carpet area for Gurgaon. And let's say 3,600 rupees per square feet for a place like Jhajjar in Haryana. Now government has not said कि आप Jhajjar में affordable housing मत लाओ. सरकार ने पॉलिसी बना दिया, anyone can go meet the requirements of being a developer as per the policy and develop a project as per the affordable housing. But there are no projects in Jhajjar under the affordable housing because in market there is no demand even at 3,600 rupees per foot.
Interesting.
So it is basically the inherent demand at that price point which drives the affordable housing, not the builder's name. Though eventually over a period of time, by continuous delivery, some builders have established themselves in the affordable housing market. And now I'm very sure that with time, will continue to improve because everything is an evolution.
Correct. So, picking up on the fact you shared कि government ने ये start किया था 4,000 rupees per square feet in Gurgaon, right? So ये 2014 का price?
हाँ, but इसको अभी revise कर दिया है. So initially the price was 4,000 rupees a square feet and 500 rupees per square feet for the balconies, and there were no car parkings available. But अभी government ने इस price को revise करके 4,200 rupees per square feet for the apartment, 1,000 rupees for the balcony and 1 lakh rupees for car parking करती है.
Okay.
और वो जरूरी भी है because input cost इतनी बढ़ गई. In fact, if you look at it, see, this price is not even 4,200 rupees.
What do you mean?
4,200 rupees जो है वो कारपेट एरिया का प्राइस है. बट बिल्डर को डेवलपमेंट तो पूरा करना है. इट्स अ ग्रीनफील्ड डेवलपमेंट.
करेक्ट.
बिल्डर को बैल्कनीज भी बनानी है, सॉरी नॉट बैल्कनीज, बिल्डर को कॉमन एरियाज भी बनाने हैं, स्टेयर केसेस भी बनानी है, गैलरीज भी बनानी है, बाउंड्री वॉल भी करना है, कम्युनिटी हॉल भी बनाना है. तो उस सब को हम देखते हैं तो वो जो सेलेबल एरिया उसके ओवर एंड अबव 20% का कंस्ट्रक्शन और करता है. So actually speaking, the builder is selling this in Gurgaon at a price of around 3,400 rupees on a super area basis.
Okay.
So which makes a very attractive price point from a Gurgaon real estate market perspective. 3,400 rupees a square feet पर गुड़गांव में कहीं पर भी प्रॉपर्टी अवेलेबल होती ही नहीं.
अच्छा, एक और चीज है कि सो इनिशियली जब आप ये प्रॉपर्टी लेते हैं तो आपको एक यू डोंट अप्रोच द बिल्डर, राइट? आपको गवर्नमेंट की वेबसाइट पे यू हैव टू काइंड ऑफ, इट्स अ वेरी ट्रांसपेरेंट प्रोसेस, राइट? कि बट जब
Initially, it was not that transparent. Initially, it was not that transparent.
ओके,
Initially, it was that you had to approach the builder, but then the government realized that because of the demand, there are
अच्छा,
some various activities happening. So to make the process transparent, government made it online allotment. So now it is all online allotment. I, as a buyer, want to go and buy a project in affordable housing. All I have to do is make an online application, and my application goes into the system.
And then once the lock-in period is over, then you can do an individual agreement, right? One-to-one
Let's not
agreement.
consider two things. The initial allotment is online, which is only for the allotment time. Once the allotment is done and the construction, then the government has a supervisory role, not even that. Then it is between the builder and the buyer.
अच्छा.
So the builder-buyer agreement is signed with an individual builder, and the individual builder is a private entity. If there is a lack of promise fulfillment or a breach of contract by the builder, then RERA Gurgaon or RERA Haryana, as the case may be, is the place where a aggrieved buyer will have to go. Otherwise, from the date of allotment, the buyer needs to wait for 5 years or 1 year from the date of possession to be able to sell that unit. Allotment is controlled online. Rest, everything is then between the buyer and the builder individually.
Okay, got it. Interesting, makes sense. So ये जो कैपिंग किया है गवर्नमेंट ने कि 22 BHK 25 लाख से स्टार्ट होगा एंड 4,000 and 4,200 रुपीस पर स्क्वायर फीट का जो ये प्राइस किया है गवर्नमेंट ने, ये सब कॉस्टिंग वगैरह दैट्स इंटरनल टू द गवर्नमेंट, राइट? उन्होंने how they marketed it, there's a kind of a subsidy also, so उन्होंने सब लेके किया होगा. बट ये जो कॉस्टिंग बिल्डर को मिल रहा है, राइट? एंड विद द राइजिंग इनपुट कॉस्ट, सो हम देख रहे हैं, राइट? राइजिंग इनपुट कॉस्ट इज अ वेरी विजिबल इन्फ्लेशन फिगर. तो they are making a margin or they are not?
They are on a very thin margin. There is hardly any margin here for the builder. Margin of error is very less in affordable housing project for the builder. जो बिल्डर अपने इसमें प्रॉफिट में जो कमाता है वो जो कमर्शियल पोर्शन 4% का.
Correct. They can create construction. They can construct commercial properties, right?
4% of the total land can be constructed as, or the total project can be done as commercial. Builder अपना profit commercial portion से कमा.
Okay.
Yes, under this project, because of a very has some delivery risk in affordable housing. The only thing which kind of supports there is कि sale जल्दी होती है तो उस पे cash flow का pressure नहीं रहता है, पैसा आता रहता है buyer से. The builder is not starved for sales in affordable housing, but other than that, the margin is very. So I would say if I am an investor and I should either buy it from a builder with a very, very established track record, or not try and buy it at a very, very in-demand location, because जितना in-demand location है, builder ने उस जगह का rate of land उतना ही ज़्यादा दिया है, so उसका margin और ज़्यादा है. So the builder, that particular product is even more riskier. It might look very attractive because आपको एक controlled price के ऊपर एक जगह property मिल रही है, but क्योंकि वहाँ पर शायद उसको 1,200 रुपये में भी जमीन नहीं मिल रही है, so the chances of default cutting corners are very high.
अच्छा, बट आप जनरली आप जाना चाहोगे ना एक इन डिमांड लोकेशन पे, आप सब।
Then you are okay. It's like, what do I say? One has to balance between what can actually happen and what has happened.
हम्म।
So
ओके।
अगर उसको आपने कॉस्ट को ही 1200 रुपए पे पेड कर दिया है और वो देख रहे हैं कि भैया लैंड 2200 का आज 2500 रुपये 4 साल में 100-200 पड़ेगा, कम नहीं होगा इनपुट। सो उसको 5506 स्क्वायर में आता है, तो 42 रुपए में सेल कर रहा है, डिफॉल्ट और ही कॉर्नर्स और ही। So if you are in affordable housing, do not try and buy it in very very sought after locations. थोड़ा सा बाहर आइए ताकि बिल्डर का कॉस्ट ऑफ लैंड जो है वो कम हो गया।
So
और
दो
और वो
points. One was that you need to kind of go with an established builder, जो I think somebody who has a good track record rather than a good brand name or something. किसी का track record अच्छा होना चाहिए, right? So cost cutting and compromising the quality of construction कम हो जाते हैं. The other
डिले
thing,
एंड डिफॉल्ट ऑल्सो।
delay and default के risks भी कम हो जाएंगे उनके साथ. The other thing is you mentioned कि because यहाँ margin thin है, अगर input cost in the land is very high बिल्डर के लिए, तो सॉर्ट आफ्टर लोकेशंस में वहाँ पे देयर इज अ चांस ऑफ, देयर इज लॉजिकली एक चांस बन जाता है कि वो कॉस्ट कटिंग कर सकते हैं, और वो हो सकता है वो कंस्ट्रक्शन ऐसा हो जो 1-2 साल में ऐसे लगे कि पता नहीं कितना साल पुराना, 10 साल पुराना लगे, राइट? क्योंकि
मार्जिन
एक्सपीरियंस।
इतना कम है,
हम्म।
कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल
मैंने
होने का चांस।
मार्जिन कम है तो वो कर सकते हैं, इन स्पाइट ऑफ controls by the government, in spite of the checks and balances, हो सकता है कि कुछ हो, and then
विकास कंट्रोल सही है यार, बट आपको लाइक दिस कंट्रोल से सही है, व्हाट यू आर सेइंग इज राइट, बट लेट्स से between you and me the travel distance is 5 hours, Jaipur to Delhi, right? From Gurgaon, if I start with a 7 hour issue, I have a 2 hour margin to do some errors. I have a flat tire, there could be a traffic jam. And if I have an important meeting to come and meet you at your time, so that 2 hour margin is okay. If I have a 3 hour margin, it's even better. My chances of. But let's say if I'm cutting it very sharp, if it is a 5 hour drive, I'm cutting it at 5 hours, and if I bring it down to 4 hours, the chances of getting into an accident is high, because now I have to drive. I cannot take off or having a cup of tea or rest. So my margin error keeps on going down the shorter I cut the time. So
right.
the cost of land varies whether it is 10 kilometers here or 10 kilometers. And that can eat into the already thin margin on which an affordable housing project is to be produced.
Right. So it's a
very sought after location. A very sought after location is internally stretching the builder. कहने में बड़ा अच्छा लगेगा कि मैं यहाँ से जयपुर 3 घंटे आ जाऊँ, but essentially means I have to jump some red lights. I cannot take a stop. I cannot take. So I am undertaking a riskier operation.
I think it's a beautiful analogy. I think it's this analogy serves as a good guide for the buyer who is also an investor to kind of protect the investment by thinking like this. Ki, there's basically it's a band of रिस्क, राइट? कि जहाँ पे सॉर्ट आफ्टर लोकेशन में रिस्क बढ़ता जाता है तो आपको उतना ही ज्यादा केयरफुल होना है. फ्रॉम एन इन्वेस्टर
रेट बिल्डर का रेट कैप कर दिया ना.
हाँ, बिल्डर का रेट
अगर
कैप है.
गवर्नमेंट ने बिल्डर को ही दिया हो कि आप प्राइस के हिसाब से कर लीजिए, तो वो अपनी इनपुट कॉस्ट एब्जॉर्ब कर लेता है.
करेक्ट. क्योंकि ये पूरा डिस्कशन इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए है, राइट विपुल? एंड you are a law graduate, so थोड़ी बहुत law knowledge, legal knowledge, and of course in being in this profession you would know माय क्वेश्चन इज कि जब लॉक इन एंड हो जाता है एंड एज एन इन्वेस्टर मैं अलॉटी से ले रहा परचेस करता हूँ, राइट, एंड मुझे डिफेक्ट्स लगते हैं, एम आई प्रोटेक्टेड विद रेरा? रेरा एक्ट फर्स्ट बायर ने जो अलॉटी था उन्होंने डिफेक्ट्स को सीरियसली नहीं लिया, दे डिडंट टेक द पेन्स टू कंप्लेन टू रेरा, बट आई एम द बायर फ्रॉम द अलॉटी जिसका 1 ईयर आफ्टर पोजेशन हो गया है, तो क्या एम आई इज डज रेरा प्रोटेक्ट मी टेकिंग?
So RERA जो product defect liability establish करता है, that is from possession till 5 years. A builder is supposed is liable for any kind of a product defect liability.
Okay.
In that 5 year, even if you are buying it from an original allotee, so you are buying the right and obligation both. So now you are the owner of that property. Implication being वो liability जो आपकी तरफ जो ओरिजिनल अलॉटी की तरफ थी, बिल्डर की जो ऑब्लिगेशन थी, वो आपको भी ट्रांसफर होती। सो यू आर वेल विद इन योर राइट्स। अगर वहां पे आपको कोई प्रोडक्ट में डिफेक्ट दिखता है, सो यू कैन डेफिनेटली टेक द बिल्डर टू रेरा अंडर दोस इन दैट सिचुएशन।
So that protects my investment. तो अगर मैं सेकंड थर्ड बायर, मैं थर्ड एंड फोर्थ बायर भी हो सकता हूँ विद इन दैट 5 year
irrespective till the time you are in that 5 year period, पोजेशन से 5 साल तक का जो प्रोडक्ट डिफेक्ट लायबिलिटी एज पर रेरा है डेवलपर का, आप जब तक उसमें हैं, फर्क नहीं पड़ता है ओरिजिनल अलॉटी है, फर्स्ट बायर है, सेकंड बायर है, थर्ड बायर, बिकॉज व्हेनेवर यू बाय समथिंग फ्रॉम मी, you become the owner of the rights and obligations both. You'll have an obligation also. Let's say वहां पर बिल्डर मेंटेनेंस चार्ज ले रहा है, तो आप वो भी तो पे करोगे ना। So whenever you buy something, you have rights and you have obligations. Okay, so you are protected. There is no difference in your rights whether you're an original allotee or a first buyer or a second buyer till the time of that 5 year period from the date of possession, which is the RERA project liability of the builder.
Okay. I think that clarifies a little for an investor's perspective. Being in the industry and dealing with the affordable housing, how can you be helpful to an investor, and practically have you seen these foreign investors? I mean, have you seen any issues that have gone to RERA in the affordable housing?
Okay. See, affordable housing में भी there are builders who have defaulted, who have delayed, और वहाँ पर buyers have taken the builder to the court. In fact, recently, Department of Town and Country Planning, Directorate of Town and Country Planning, Haryana, they have cancelled licenses of a builder. तो वो है एक बिल्डर की लाइसेंस वगैरह कैंसिल हुआ। भाई अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग कोई ऐसा नहीं है कि इसके अंदर सब कुछ सही होगा। इट इज ऑल्सो अनदर रियल एस्टेट प्रोजेक्ट, एंड गलतियां उसमें भी होंगी, बदमाशियां उसमें भी होंगी, उसके लिए कानून है, उसके लिए रेरा है, और उन सब चीजों में अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम आती है तो पीपल हैव देयर रेवेन्यूज टू सीक रिड्रेसल। सो माहिरा एज अ बिल्डर रिसेंटली some of their licenses were cancelled and all, and some investigation is ongoing. बिल्डर रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा है, इट इज अ मैटर सब जुडिस, बट ऐसा हुआ है। और बाकी हाँ, और भी बिल्डर्स हैं जिनके यहाँ डिफॉल्ट्स हुए, सो पीपल आर सीकिंग लीगल रिड्रेसल जो है पॉसिबल है, वहां जा रहे हैं।
Awesome. And how can you help? That's from because we are discussing it from an investor perspective. How can you help in the entire process? You
तो इसमें जो डायरेक्ट अलॉटमेंट है वो तो ऑनलाइन है।
हाँ,
तो उसमें तो अगर कोई नए प्रोजेक्ट में करना भी चाहता है तो दे अलाउ एजेंट्स टू वर्क, बट अलॉटमेंट में कोई एजेंट आज की डेट में डायरेक्ट अलॉटमेंट में कोई अश्योरेंस नहीं दे सकता, बिकॉज इट्स अ वेरी वेरी ट्रांसपेरेंट कंप्यूटर ड्रिवन प्रोजेक्ट। होता क्या है, 5% ऑफ द इन्वेंट्री इज नोन एज अ मैनेजमेंट कोटा या बिल्डर कोटा। उसमें जरूर आपको एजेंट कह सकता है। उसमें बिल्डर क्या करेगा कि मान लीजिए 1000 यूनिट्स है, 50 उसकी अपनी है, सो बिल्डर कैन ओनली टेक 50 एप्लीकेशंस अगेंस्ट दोस 50। So an allotment can be assured, but वो कौन सा allotment होगा ये नहीं कोई assure कर सकता है because वो draw plot से ही निकले.
अच्छा.
तो उसमें builder at times agents की help rope in कर लेता है कि भैया मेरी ये 50 यूनिट है, आप इसमें चाहें तो you can work with it. So agent can help in terms of getting that assured allotment, but what floor it would be, what facing, वो सब किसी के पास control नहीं. That's all a computer driven project. Computer driven draw.
So let's say allotment तो transparently computer driven होगा through a lottery system. But do you provide any advisory services wherein you can help cherry picking?
Advisory तो yes, absolutely हमारा काम ही.
Okay.
तो है.
All right, people. With those, I think I come to an end to the talk today discussion. I hope it was valuable to everybody, and I hope I've tried to cover as much as possible. But if there are some questions from the audience, I think this is the time. I'd like to open the talk for questions from the audience. Please, if you want, you can ask your question on the chat, and I can raise it to Vipul.
Okay, just for the audience, we'll also be uploading this talk on our YouTube channel. And if any of you is not a part of our Telegram group or the YouTube channel, let me just post the link. आप उसे join कर सकते हैं. You can ask your follow-up questions there. You can join our, you can view our earlier talks on the YouTube channel. So I have posted the link for the YouTube channel and for the Telegram group both. Since no one has a question, I think we can call it a day.
All right.
Happy Independence Day to you, Vikas.
Happy Independence Day to you as well, to everyone. All right. With that, let's close this talk. Thank you, everyone, for joining. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Gotta focus on yourself, on your faith, on your dreams, on